baby. Hello, Nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey, it's still something in the 150s of the Brink of Sanity show.
Yes, it is. And we are back to talk more TV because we know you guys love it.
Yeah. We might not go the whole episode because we're running out of shows really quick. But we're going to start off, get them out of the way. I was thinking Last Man Standing, Suburgatory and Whitney, they're all mediocre comedies. Nothing's going to get much better or much worse. And it would be pretty boring if we just say that every week. So want to just start off by dropping all those?
Yeah, they're all really bad. Why don't we just give a quick recap of them? So which one do you want to start with first?
I guess Last Man Standing.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that one yet.
Oh, well, we're going to drop it before we even mention it.
Yeah, we kind of knew it would be terrible.
I don't think it's terrible. It's just not good.
Here's my basic recap of it. It's kind of like Home Improvement, except instead of having boys, he has girls. And except for using humor, they don't.
I think his character is funnier than his Home Improvement character.
There was one funny line, the daughter goes, "Can I have money?" And they're like, "Well, why don't you get a job?" And she's like, "Oh my God, are we poor?" And he's like, "Well, you are. We're doing fine, but you're poor."
He's got one or two funny lines each episode, and then it turns into the general sitcom where it's there's a problem, it's resolved at the end of the episode. And
well, here's my problem with the show. Not even recapping what happened. He has daughters. One daughter has a kid already. They're all annoying. Tim Allen himself is the extremely funny comedian. It's the reason he's this successful. He's gonna always have a couple funny lines every episode because he's a funny guy. I'm sure the writers were like, "How about I say this?" He's like, "How about I say something funny?" "Oh, you're Tim Allen. Why don't you do that?" But the show itself and the wife is also not a bad. I forget her name, but she's I like her also. The show's setup is just stupid. It's just him solving these girls' problems. All the girls are really unbelievably annoying.
Yeah, they're all complete bitches.
I mean, there's some of them are attractive, but you still want them to die one episode. You wish The Walking Dead would happen in the episode.
Here we go, killing all the people again.
That is my solution. The most shows is the killing. Yeah, I guess maybe if next episode they all get radiation poisoning and they die throughout the whole season, I'd watch that. Or maybe there's a terrorist attack and then Jack Bauer becomes in the show. Anything we combine a show I actually like with this show, I'd go with it.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't really have much to say about it because it's pretty generic.
I don't know. He works at so instead of working for a tool show, this time he works for some what the hell does he do?
It's like a camping hunting supply store or something like that.
Yeah.
They sell tents and axes and I don't know.
You know my problem with these shows also is they're not grounded in any form of reality. They're less realistic than Terra Nova. In the beginning, in the first episode, he's asked, the daughter has a child. The child's maybe 2, and he's asked to drop the child off at daycare. He gets to daycare, and he's like, "I don't like this daycare," and brings the child to work and hands the child to one of his employees and goes, "Take care of him."
Yeah.
There's no person even the biggest crackhead fathers are good enough just not to be around. No one's this dumb in real life to actually do this.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing also is there's something in the show, he's raised 3 daughters. Up to this point, they're all teenagers at the very least. And I guess they show he was away a lot when because he used to travel a lot, but you'd have some sensibility of how to raise a daughter. I don't know. It's weird. He has knows nothing about girls, and you're it's he adopted the girls when they were 18. I just I have some grounding in reality of something oh, I can relate to they'll have someone say oh, I have daughters also. I can see I relate to the same problem. They always talk about women's stuff, and I want to talk about sports, but I have daughters. And I know what it's like, as opposed to just being it'd be weird if I suddenly had daughters and they were 15.
Yeah. Okay, so, the second... I actually watched 3 episodes of this show.
And let's throw out... I feel the older shows, they're all really bad. Who's the Boss and Growing Pains? Not very good shows. But there was some element of it okay, this weird situation happens. You hire a a housekeeper who brings his kid, and they all become family. But like, there was some grounding of everyone they knew each other. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, he does seem to not really know his daughters. Maybe he traveled a lot, because the premise is he was a traveling salesman, and now he's like grounded by the company.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that, then like have in the first episode them being like, I hate you, you're never around when I was a kid, and I'm going to try to get back, but I'm going to try to be part of your life now. And then have it go from there.
That was Terra Nova.
That show's terrible, too. There are shows I like, but these aren't the shows I like.
Okay, so Last Man Standing.
I didn't even watch the third episode.
Okay, well, it's another daycare episode. They have like grandparent day at the daycare, and he's obnoxious, and not only do they kick him out of grandparent day, they expel the kid. And so again, he brings the kid to work. I'm not even joking. He brings the kid to work again. And the whole office is exhausted because they all take turns playing with the kid, and they enjoy it, but now everyone in the office is not getting work done. And so he has to apologize to the daycare guy.
Hey, what do you guys want to write about this week? How about Tim Allen's character brings the kid to work with him? Oh, did we just do an episode about that? Yeah, but no one's going to remember that. That was like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, so I guess they ran out of ideas after episode 2.
And I think in one of the episodes, the first or second one episode, he makes someone from work go out with his daughter, but he goes out with the wrong daughter. And
yeah, now they're dating.
Another date.
Yeah, they're still dating, I think.
The show, there's some point in the show, in the first episode, like the one of his employees does something, and he shoots like a bow and arrow at a crossbow at the employee, and the employee, obviously it misses the employee. If it had hit the employee in the neck, and they had to deal with it from there, I would like the show better. Or what if, like, Tim Allen in the real life was in prison? Just put him in prison to have his antics in prison. I was reading his bio. Like, it's a really interesting bio. Like how he was down on his luck. He like robbed a liquor store or something like that. Went to jail for a while, and now he's like worth $500 billion.
Yeah, he's doing all right for himself, huh?
Yeah, he's turned his. I mean, like Home Improvement was gigantic. The Santa Claus movies were gigantic. And
Home Improvement's still on syndication.
Yeah, every month he probably gets a check for at least maybe $1 million or $500,000 from the Home Improvement reruns.
Yeah,
I know nothing about how that actually works, but
don't forget about Toy Story.
Yeah, Toys. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I mean, this show, I don't think it's gonna get axed. Oh, by the way, Charlie's Angels got axed already.
Shocker. So,
Playboy Club, How to Be a Gentleman, and Charlie's Angels have all been canceled.
So I want to throw this out there. Two people I talked to recently, like friends of mine, who I respect their opinions. Actually, one of them I don't respect his opinion as much on shows. I think he likes some bad shows, but he likes some good shows too. One said they liked Pan Am, and one said they liked New Girl. And I was floored.
Yeah. I'm going to call it now. Pan Am's the next show to get canceled.
The friend that likes Pan Am, he likes some good shows, likes some bad shows, but he hasn't watched Mad Men. I'm like, just watch Mad Men instead.
Yeah. Walking Dead shattered all records for a cable show, and it's on the same time as Pan Am, and I think it actually got more viewers than Pan Am, which means it's gone.
Well, they said actually they were like, Walking Dead equaled the entire viewership of Pan Am, Boardwalk Empire, all the shows actually that were on against it, the entire audience basically lost. Like all the big shows at least, their audience didn't equal what Walking Dead had.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They said it was like 7.4 million viewers for the episode, but then you also have like they rerun the new episode like twice more throughout the night, and they added in DVR, and they said it was like over like 11 million people watched it. It was like good for like a network show.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So Pan Am's going to be the next one canceled, and that'll be 4 out of the 6 shows we only gave 1 episode to will be canceled. So
we are going to start talking about The Walking Dead because Jay has convinced me to watch it. I am caught up on Walking Dead. I'm actually ahead of Jay in Walking Dead. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. But I guess you want to go over the other 2 we're going to drop today?
Yeah, so I dropped Suburgatory and Whitney before Jay, but Jay still watched them. Let me guess what happened. In Whitney, she came up with some kind of stereotypical situation happen between girls and guys relationship. She makes a couple of funny lines. You kind of chuckle, you kind of laugh. In the end of the episode, everything works out. In Suburgatory, something about living in the suburbs versus living in the city comes up, and the girl has problems in school, and the dad solves the problems, or does bumbling things, and the problem gets solved at the end.
Are you sure you didn't watch these shows?
This is really what
Yeah, pretty much. In Whitney, the over affectionate couple wants to get engaged, and they talk the girl into proposing to the guy, but the guy already is going to propose to the girl, and in the end,
so he says no, so he can propose, right?
No, actually, he just beats her to the punch, and they have like a real proposal, and it was pretty lame.
You know, like shows where we're growing up, like they always be like, "This is a very special like episode of Tony Danza where someone dies," something like that, and they'd have like that one dramatic episode.
Yeah, like one where Alf committed a murder.
Did Alf really commit a murder?
Yeah.
How did Alf kill someone?
They had somebody like visiting, like an uncle or something, so they told Alf to hide in the backyard in a tent and live out there until the person leaves. And somehow the uncle goes into the backyard and opens up the tent and sees Alf, and he has a heart attack and drops dead. And this is a real episode.
Wow. That's up there with the episode of the greatest episode ever of any TV show, Different Strokes, where the boys get molested.
Yeah, exactly.
At the bike shop.
See, you would have loved that episode because somebody died.
Yeah, actually, I kind of would have. But I liked Alf.
Yeah,
that was more grounded in reality than half these shows.
And then Suburgatory.
Well, here's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Would it be great if, like, Whitney, like, it's just a regular comedy. On, like, the third episode ever, they're like, on a very special Whitney gets cancer.
And then she's just bald.
Something insanely dramatic and, like, sad happens, like, the third episode.
And then she's just bald the rest of the season. Suburgatory, for some reason the girl either has to or feels, I think she has to join like a social activity. So she joins the school newspaper and nobody's reading it. And so they turn it into like a gossip column instead of like actual news. And it gets super popular and everyone loves them. But then they realize that they would rather have journalistic integrity. And so they go back to having a real newspaper.
Why can't ever those shows like when they come up with those ethical dilemmas, like, "Oh, we shouldn't run this story; it's not right"? Can't they just take the option of like, "Hey, we're going to run it and have no integrity," and just go with that in the show? Yeah,
they did that for like a week, and then the guy came up with a story about that nerdy girl that she's friends with, and then she's like, "No, we can't run this."
That's always also how it gets killed. It's like someone they really like. Everyone like picks on the weaker character, and they're like, "Oh, I can't let that happen." It'd be great if she was like, "Oh, and let's say this about her."
Yeah,
Just don't always go for the safe, like, we're going to teach a lesson to people watching the show that you shouldn't pick on people.
Nope.
I mean, they're right, but it's just, I don't know, it's boring for a sitcom. If you know what, if they took Suburgatory, Whitney, and Tim Allen's show, and just put them all in one show, pretend they were all like, put all the characters in one show, maybe, it wouldn't be funny, but at least I could stand a half hour of that.
Call it super generic fun time.
Exactly.
So, all right, we're dropping all those shows. So, out of our first 12 shows, we're down to 2.
I'm shocked that, like, we're down to 2, but the networks are still airing these shows.
I know. So, yeah, I'm assuming Pan Am's going to get canceled in a week or two. And then we'll be pretty accurate. Pretty much all the shows that we've dropped after one episode will have been canceled, except for The Ringer, which is going to be on forever. But I'm pretty sure that that's because they have nothing to replace it with. I really don't think it's because of anything else.
What was the Bill Simmons line about that? I don't know if he said this already, but he said things like you don't have to get like getting bad ratings doesn't get you canceled on WB. It basically, if viewers watch the show and because of the show they go to Best Buy and break the TVs at Best Buy, then they get canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
Viewers have to actually like resort to the physical violence in reaction to your show to get canceled.
Yeah, I was amazed at how low the ratings are and it's got signed on for a full season.
What are the ratings? Are they have they gone up, maybe?
No, it's like 1.1 million, I think, was the last episode.
Oh, my God.
So, like, AMC is getting, like, 7 times the numbers.
I mean, to be fair, like the AMC numbers are really high. For that like, most of their shows, like, Mad Men doesn't get that high ratings. Probably gets, like, a 1 point something also. But The Ring is really... But also, Mad Men has, like, no... Like, it's a cable show versus I guess, quote, network.
Yeah, I mean, WB is, what, the 5th biggest channel on the planet. You'd think they would be able to pull a little more than that.
Though I'm coming across an article right here that says, on Perez Hilton, that says The Ringer's ratings are up.
All right, well...
So maybe you don't know what you're talking about. They said a 17% bump to up to 1.7 million.
Oh, wow.
Which, if your show premiered at 1.7 million on even, like, Fox, they would be canceled right away.
Yeah, I mean, How to Be a Gentleman had, like, 5 million, I think, and got canceled.
Yeah, but I guess they said the New Girl is on hiatus, so it's not going against the New Girl because that's the baseball playoffs.
Oh, right. Correction. How to Be a Gentleman technically did not get canceled. They just, after they filmed the 9th episode, the station told them not to film the last 4, and they moved the show to Saturday night.
Oh, is it still on?
They're going to air out the last 7 episodes on Saturday night, but...
They're like, How to Be a Gentleman, don't film any episodes after 5. Actually, we're up to 9. Okay. Don't film any episodes after 5. We're up to 9. We don't want any trace of the existence of episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, please? Just get rid of them. Okay, so moving forward in shows that are actually decent. Oh, no, we have Terra Nova to cover. Never mind.
Yeah, we're 2 episodes behind on Terra Nova.
So... What happened the last 2 weeks?
Well, the third one was where there was a disease, and it made people basically get dementia. And so the wife figured out a cure for it just in time. Now, that was the second straight episode where there was a problem, and the nurse, because she's like a scientist, figures out the problem. And I thought the show was just going to get renamed House.
I have a question for you about the show. Just like, if I told you we're going to do a show where people are sent back in time, the time of dinosaurs, and it's like a drama, you'd assume in the first 4 episodes there might be some fighting against a big dinosaur.
You would think.
You would think in one episode they would fight a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
We got little baby pterodactyls.
That's really... They don't... How do you do a show about dinosaurs and not have dinosaurs on the show?
And how did they get rid of the pterodactyls? Oh, the scientists figured out how to get rid of them.
It's just... Land of the Lost used to have... Like, every once in a while they have to run for a dinosaur. Just have a Stegosaurus or something, some big dinosaur, like, cause problems and like, have them fight the Stegosaurus. That would be kind of cool.
So every single episode is just going to be the scientist figuring out the problem? Because she's a scientist?
No. Episode 4, the most recent episode, there was a lost girl who turned out to be from the Sixers. And she was sent over there to steal a box. They don't tell you what was in the box, and no one can figure out how to open the box. And any interest I had in the show died with that box.
They actually advanced the storyline slightly in this episode, though. That was good.
Oh, so basically they steal this girl, and so the girl comes over, tries to steal the box, and then it turns out they're holding her brother hostage. And at some point, basically, the main guy who plays a cop in the dinosaur village, ends up with the Sixers, and the Sixers' boss tells him that the people from the future hate the guy who's in charge. Is that what they said? Yeah,
basically, and they want him dead. Because he's going to do something bad, but they don't say what's bad.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, like, once you're through the portal, you can't go back.
Yeah.
How do they get messages back and forth?
I guess humans can't go back.
How do they know they hate them?
Humans can't go back, but apparently, like, paper or text message. Maybe when the portal opens, they shoot a text message through it.
Maybe they put, like, one half there's like a string with like a cup. They put it on each end. I mean, and how do the people in the future really even give a shit what's going on with the guy back then?
Yeah, they don't. They say that people can't go back, but for some reason you can get messages back and forth. So I don't know.
They just said he's on a different timeline. So how do they know he's even screwing up? They can't see how what he's doing affects their actions.
Yeah, if it's a different timeline, they probably wouldn't care anyway.
But so some reason or another, he came back here and got everyone to listen to him and started an entire colony, but he was doing something wrong.
He was, well, they said in one episode he was the first one, and he lived on his own for like a couple weeks or something like that.
Oh. Yeah, I must have fallen asleep during that point.
I like the fourth episode, kind of.
With the little girl?
Yeah.
If they told me what was in the box, I would have like advanced. Here's the problem with the story. Like, they want to hold too much back because they have so little to say. Mm-hmm. Just advance the story. Come up with some weird shit to happen. Like, advance the story. Like, a show like Lost, which was a great show, even though, like, it drove you crazy near the end. They always advanced the story, at least. There was something like they'd find something out, at least, every episode.
I would disagree about that.
They advanced the story a lot.
That show meandered for, like, 2 straight years.
I was still enjoyable. I mean, this is, like, really
I hated it. For, like, fourth season on, I just hated that show.
So, I mean, Terra Nova you have, there's a father you don't really love. His wife is kind of annoying. They have kids you'd hope get eaten. I mean, is there any character you like in the show?
That's a good point. I don't really like any character. The old dude that's apparently going to ruin everything is, like, the best character, and he's just mediocre.
Which old dude?
The guy who owns the guy who rules the whole thing.
Oh, the white hair guy? Yeah. There's also, like, so the son wants to make a trade to get his sister back. Sorry, his girlfriend back through the portal, and then like you find out like the bartender works with the Sixers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but then they didn't do anything with that.
Right, but you know it's something.
Yeah, it's like something for a show that's really just not very good.
They're just moving at a really slow pace for a season that only has 13 episodes.
For a show about dinosaurs, things go really slow.
Because the second and third episode had nothing to do with the plot at all. That was just like an episode of ER.
Yeah, well, they have all these one-off like things. Like the girl gets lost, she's taken care of. Every episode has to have a one-off thing, but you're supposed to at least advance the story also and have it some way like... I want to kill this show. I never want to watch it again.
Yeah, you hate it that much?
You really want to keep watching this show?
I kind of do.
I mean, I'll give it another episode if you want to, but, like, I don't think it's getting better.
Well, I thought the second and third episodes were terrible, and then I kind of liked the fourth episode. But
I didn't really like it either. I don't know. I thought the Lost Girl was kind of a silly plot line also. I was like, just advance the story. Do something else. At least tell me what's in the box.
All right, how about this? If the next episode is another one-off episode, we're done.
Yeah. And how about this? If next episode there's a problem and the scientists, like the doctors solve it in the last seconds, you'll break your TV.
I won't break my TV, but I will delete the show from my DVR.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, it's kind of you think the show's going to get better?
That's why I don't want to drop it right away. I kind of hope it does.
Do you think at any point you'd be like, ooh, what's going to happen this weekend at Terra Nova?
I don't know.
My only thing now is, ooh, I wonder if this week Terra Nova will air next week.
How are the ratings for that show?
Oh, let's check that out. That is a good point, because maybe it's getting good ratings. I don't know. Like, even the thing with the Sixers feels like the others, but a weaker version of the others. TV ratings for Terra Nova grows, and 2.5 Men continue to drop.
Yeah, but 2.5 Men was so high, like that show could drop every week and not get canceled.
Terra Nova is up to 8 million total viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic. It rose 8% and 14% total.
All right, so I think that show's going to be around for a while.
House only got 8.4 million. So it really, actually, House only didn't even beat it by that much. House and Hawaii Five-0 were the two highest rated shows in that time slot.
I don't know one person who watches Hawaii Five-0.
You know what? The thing about Hawaii Five-0, the commercials always look kind of like, oh, that could be a good show. And the people on the show, like, one guy who used to be on Entourage, but he seems like a good character. I liked him on Entourage. And one guy used to be on Lost, and I liked him on Lost. I feel like they could be good. It's a show I feel like if I watched an episode, I probably wouldn't think it's that bad.
And the girl is from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, I haven't watched that. But so people that we actually like are on the show.
Yeah. Although that didn't work for How to Be a Gentleman.
It did not. But I feel like this is a show that could actually be a decent show if you watched it. But I think it's a show also, it's like a one-off show. Every episode is probably a new story. And it's the same way like NCIS or CSI and all those. I bet they're all like, you'd watch an episode and be like, oh, that wasn't bad. But you probably wouldn't be that addicted to watching it.
Yeah, I feel like for comedies that works. I don't really like that for dramas or action shows.
What about like the Law and Order thing? Like Law and Order, Law and Order, every episode is watchable, but you never have an interest in going like, oh, I got to watch the next Law and Order episode. Yeah,
for some reason, I guess it works with the crime dramas, but like action shows, I kind of want like a continuing story.
That's the 24 effect. It like ruined us. They used to never do that. And now since 24, you have to do that because that makes the show better.
Well, no. I mean, they had it with, Sopranos and 6 Feet Under. And I mean...
Yeah. But those aren't really action shows.
No, but drama. Yeah, I guess action shows didn't really do that. You're right.
No, I see what you're saying, though. I mean, like any kind of serial drama, I enjoy more.
Yeah.
Because then you're hooked into watching every week versus like the Law and Order effect. If I had to sit down and watch an episode of Law & Order, which I have to at times because my wife likes to watch that show, I can be into the show. It's interesting. It's fine. Do I care if I see another episode of Law & Order? No.
Yeah, there's nothing that pulls you in for the next one.
Yeah, and the same thing will be true for Hawaii Five-0 and all the other shows. But if you're looking for something to watch that time slot, it's probably better than half the other shit in that time slot.
Yeah, true. All right, so, Terra Nova's on a very short leash.
Okay, so the first episode of American Horror, I thought was pretty good. You thought it was pretty mediocre. Yeah. There's been 2 episodes since.
I thought the second episode was much better.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's still kind of confusing, but there was a lot of like pretty intense moments. It wasn't as confusing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely pretty good. I just...
What about the third episode?
Third episode was decent. Again, it's like now I'm at the point where I'm like, well, how are they going to stay in this house for another 10 episodes?
So the show, let's recap. I really like it. I mean, I don't think it's an amazing show, but I think it's totally worth watching for the full season. But
yeah.
Is this a show? Can we give this the full season?
Yeah, unless it starts like really taking a turn for the worse, I think we could stick with it.
So this is the first show we've said you get the season pass.
Yeah,
sweet. So the second episode, there's
only going to be like 12 or 13 episodes, right?
Yeah, they're only like 12 or 13. I guess so. The thing is, so you're in the first episode, you're in a haunted house. You discover all these things about the haunted house. You're like, what are they going to do? Second episode. Second episode. It's called Home Invasion, the episode, and they have a home invasion. Basically, they show in the beginning of the episode there was this famous killing that happened there, where this guy who seemed like a hitchhiker who was injured, or I don't know if a hitchhiker, but a guy came to had like a blood on his head. There were these nurse students living there. They let him in, thinking he's injured. I don't know, were they nurse students? I don't know what they were. I think they were nurse students, and basically he murders them in a very interesting way. Basically.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird way. And then there basically turns out in this episode, there's these individuals who like to recreate murders and actually kill people like that after famous murders. And so the dad happens to go away for the weekend to make sure the girl he cheated on his wife with gets an abortion. He goes there and doesn't tell his wife he's doing that. And the mom's left with her daughter in the house. And during this, the 3 people who like to recreate murders break into the house and are going to murder the daughter and the mom.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, you weren't sure how they're going to get away. The daughter's, I guess the dad's patient, who becomes the daughter's boyfriend, happens to be at the house. We're not sure if he's an apparition. I don't know how he's always at the house.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a real person or not at this point.
Yeah, it's really like confusing, but like.
Well, the girl that he terrorized in the first episode said he looked into the eyes of the devil or something like that.
Yeah, they mentioned it in the second episode that like she was like just so frightened from what she saw.
Like her hair turned white, like Rogue.
Yeah, and so basically he tells them get them down to the basement, and they get one of them down to the basement, and it seems like people who were killed in the house all live in the basement.
Yeah, it's like they just stockpile. Like once you die, you're just in the basement.
And so the people that were killed, I guess, weren't happy they were recreating the murders, and they kill them. And at the end of the episode, you find that the daughter's boyfriend, the neighbor mom, and who was the third person now? And the housekeeper were all down there being like, we have to get rid of the bodies. They killed someone else.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, who's a real person and who's a ghost, and, like, I don't know, that part's kind of confusing. It's
a twisted show. So the neighbor, the old woman, tells a story about how, like, all her kids were retarded, except for she had one kid who was, like, this beautiful god. And then later in the episode, it looks like she's going to have sex with her dead son.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if he's dead. I think he's dead.
Oh, that's who it was? I thought it was just some random, like, guy she picked up.
I was assuming it was some kind of incest.
Why'd you go right to incest?
Because that's where my mind goes, I guess. I don't know, because she was talking about how she had this one son who was a goddess, or god. And it was just, like, it was really weird. Then, like, she was with this guy, like, this young guy who was, like very, like a very studly specimen, I guess. I don't know how best to say that.
Oh, yeah, that could have been.
I don't know, maybe I should read some reviews online to see what people else are saying. Maybe I'm the only person that jumped to incest right away.
It is very, very confusing. Like, you don't know who's what. Or
The best thing is, so the retarded girl actually had gone over and seen what happened with the home invasion. She comes to back to her mom and be like, oh, we got something's going on over there. And the mom, since she's trying to do this stud, wants to just keep the retarded girl, like, busy. So she puts her in the closet of terror, which is just a closet of mirrors, where the retarded girl just keeps seeing her face and screaming.
That was pretty twisted.
That was this show is so twisted. This show's really funny. I really enjoyed that. The closet of mirrors was like the greatest thing ever. And also we see the husband's in Boston. He said he had to go see an old patient or something, and he's trying to get his ex-girlfriend to have an abortion, but like he's drinking wine with her, and I thought they were gonna have sex, but I guess he was just trying to kill what came with the last time they had sex.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened in the second episode.
And then the third episode. What happens in the third episode? Oh, at the end of the second episode, the mom's like, we have to sell this house. So in the third episode, she tries to like make the sale happen. But we find out that dad has lost a lot of money with their investments, and they can't afford, basically, until they actually sell this house, they can't really afford to buy anything.
There's also a tour of all the murders that happened in that town, and like their house is like the finale stop.
Yeah, the murder tour. They stop at their house and like, this is the big murder house. She's like, oh, great, I live there.
Oh, and she's pregnant, and I think it was because some like demon had sex with her or something.
Yeah, we saw in the first episode some demon kind of. She had sex with her husband and then had sex with a demon. So we don't know if the child is the demon's child or the husband's child.
Right. And, the crazy girlfriend that was supposed to get an abortion decided to not get an abortion and keep showing up at the house and thinks that they're going to just live together happily ever after. Okay,
that was so awesome how that ended. Because I kept thinking, like, you know what? Like, if you're in this situation, you might have to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Or you just say your marriage is over. Like, she wants to tell the wife, she's like, let me tell your wife, like, that you have other obligations. I'm pregnant. I'm going to raise a daughter. I'm going to move here. You're going to have to, like, take care of my daughter also. And he's like, well, my marriage is going to be over. And he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's like, and she's at the house. He's like, let's just go somewhere and talk about this. And this is the end of the episode. As they're leaving the house, there's this guy who used to live in the house who was, half his face has been burnt, half his body has been burnt off.
Because he tried to he did burn his whole family alive.
Yeah, and he has cancer, he has brain cancer, and I guess the prison system let him out, basically. So he's kind of like his protector. For some reason, every time he goes for a jog, he shows up. It's kind of weird, and every time he shows up, the dad's like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah, he's not nice to this guy at all, and the guy's doing nothing but trying to help him.
The greatest thing ever was he's like being harassed by the mistress, and the guy, the crazy guy who's with the burnt off face, hits the mistress in the face with a shovel and beats her to death.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, he just beats the mistress to death.
And he's like, problem solved.
He's like, problem solved, just bury her, build a gazebo. And he's like, remember that money, that $1,000 I wanted to borrow?
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, you can have it.
And the guy gets upset, and he like hugs the girl, and he goes, "What, are you taking a DNA bath?"
And so the dad builds a gazebo. Who knew the dad was this handy? The dad should fucking forget being a psychiatrist. He should build gazebos. He's really good at that.
Like a perfect gazebo. Basically, he buries the girl in the backyard. Well, he lets the brain cancer guy dig the hole, and then throw the girl in, and then he built a gazebo over it.
I'm gonna just pretend that like the gazebo wouldn't have taken at least a couple months to build, and just say it's cool that he did it in 2 days.
Yeah, and I don't know, the maid whose guys see her as a young woman, she's like crying in the window or something like that.
Wait, what happened? Oh, the maid's crying in the window?
Yeah, right.
Oh, we also find out in that episode. So some other history. The woman living next door, she caught her husband having sex with the maid. And this is, I guess, a while ago. I guess the woman used to live in the house. And so she shoots her husband and shoots the maid in the eye and kills them both. And so now the maid has like a weird, weird eye because of that.
Yeah, and she said there's some weird stuff where she's like, I want to go, but you won't let me. And so for some reason, the neighbor next door is able to keep the maid around and has her kind of like as a slave or something.
They're all in some kind of weird purgatory or something or other.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was it. Both of them were pretty good.
I mean, I know you're right that like any normal family would be like, let's get the hell out of this house. But I guess they're going to keep bringing up excuses why you can't get out of the house. Like I guess the mom goes to the real estate broker and she's like, you can't sell this house. No, who's dumb enough to buy the house besides you? And she's like, you're going to sell it for us. And she's like, well, get a different broker. And she's like, I called every broker in the city, and everyone else says no. So I'm going to sue you unless you try to sell this house.
Yeah, so she is trying, and they do mention that they spent all their excess money on the house. So there's, they don't have the money to they talked about renting a studio apartment or something like that, but they don't have the money to do that.
And they go look at a small apartment, and the daughter's there, and the daughter makes a hissy fit. She's like, I want to live in the house. Because the daughter, I guess, is weird and doesn't mind living there, I guess. Yeah,
that was a little weird. She said, I'm going to run away, and you'll never find me if you move into this apartment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the daughter, understands something weird's going on there, but she likes it because she's kind of weird. I mean, but at least you throw in the idea of, you don't really have the money to move out of there, and your daughter's making a hissy fit, so maybe you might stay there a little bit longer.
Maybe.
I mean, obviously, they have to keep throwing up roadblocks to prevent them from leaving the house.
Right. I feel like that might get silly after another episode or two, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, maybe next, the state passes a law, they have to stay there. It's just the worst excuses ever. Damn it, Al Qaeda's surrounding our house. We can't leave the house.
Yeah.
But I mean, beyond that, so you have to accept the fact that you're going to stay in the house. And roadblocks will be thrown up. So the house isn't, and the question also is the house going to kill them, or is the house protecting them? Does the house need them? Because they make a comment the house needs them at some point.
Right. Yeah. That's, so I don't know.
We also learned about the first person that lived in the house. The first owners, I guess, some guy. He was a big, rich filmmaker, or something like that. He builds the house for his wife. But he goes crazy. Instead of continuing to make films, he he basically sticks human heads and animal parts in what's that stuff called? He sticks them in jars and some kind of stuff to keep them from.
Yeah, whatever that stuff is that preserves things, formaldehyde or something.
Formaldehyde, that's what it is. And he just has just weird things down in the basement, basically. And does he kill his wife?
I believe he does, yeah.
How does he kill his wife?
I think they just implied that she died. I don't think they actually showed it.
But like, it's basically the cool thing about this show versus Terra Nova is this show you find out something new every episode.
Yeah, that's true.
So every episode's revealing. There's the plot lines aren't so one-off either because they're kind of continuing to a certain extent. The home invasion happened, but like the consequences are the mom's like even like messed up from this and has to get the hell out of the house.
Right.
And you keep like it's more of a serial drama, and I mean basically if the writers of Terra Nova wrote American Horror, every episode you would actually be like 4 episodes in and have not seen the house yet.
And the guy would solve the problem every episode with therapy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we'll keep going with that show. And then next week we have Grimm and
American Horror and
no, is that Arthur whatever show? That's the week after.
Yeah, but we do have The Walking Dead, which I'm running out of time, so we can talk about briefly, but we'll talk about a lot more next episode.
Okay, let's just take a quick break so I can put in our promos, and then we'll be right back.
Let's cut to the chase. I'm DJ, and I do a little something called the Green Light Show. Now, I want you to be a fan of the show, so I'm making you listen to this sample. And these girls, they think, oh, as long as I show off my tits, I'm fat. I'll wear this skin-tight shirt and show off all my tits.
Yeah, I see
That'll look real good.
I see that a lot, actually, and it's rather disgusting.
And I've heard these girls, they'll say stuff like, well, you're looking.
Yeah, because I want to throw up.
Yeah, just because I'm looking at your enormous exposed tits, that doesn't mean I like them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like driving by a car wreck, if I were to see a 6-year-old boy's head smashed and run over by an SUV, just because I can't look away, that doesn't mean I like the way it looks. I went to go see Toy Story 3.
My bad.
I don't mean to spoil the movie for anybody, but Andy dies.
Does he get AIDS?
Andy gets AIDS in Toy Story 3 from a gay orgy. He got drunk. He went up to
at college.
The plot of this is it shows Andy leaving his parents in the beginning, his mom's house.
Yeah, his single mom.
Where the fuck is Andy's dad?
His mom's a single mom.
So the opening scene is just Andy going, "I'm out of here, Mom, fuck off!" And Andy drives off to his college.
Smoking weed.
Andy gets to college, and the first thing, he opens the door to his new apartment. And his roommates, who he's never met, are in there. They go, "Hey, Andy, rub this on your tongue." Andy starts fucking all these dudes. It's a big, giant orgy.
Wow.
It's like gays and lesbos and normals, and they're all just intertwined fucking.
That's weird.
And then Woody shows up, but it's not Woody. It's Andy's dick with a cowboy hat on it. And he goes, "Check out my Woody!" If you like what you hear, head on over to greenlightshow.com. You can find out everything about the show right from the homepage. greenlightshow.com. See you there.
I need a garage door opener for my balls.
What?
What the fuck? I don't like the smell that usually forms down there if I go for a couple days without washing.
I'm proud of you.
It smells like onions wrapped in asshole. What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, Dad, remember that one time I got that cock stuck in my ass?
He just went over legs and arms. In a truck not too hard to locate, featuring painted images of a peeled banana, the exposed part shaped like a condom, and a shirtless man saying, "I protect myself." To you.
What kind of fucking question is this? I'm the host of the show, and I get put down on every episode.
I love you, Tim.
John is a man of God.
Shed his precious blood.
Shed his precious blood.
And died.
And died.
Oh, my sin. And now the three guys that taught your mom that thing you like. It's Minor Detail.
minordetailpodcast.com.
All right, real quick, wrap this
Jay's
episode up.
been telling me about Walking Dead for a long time. I've been telling him I watched like an episode when it first came on. I thought it was boring, and I'm not going to watch it anymore, and I thought it was stupid. It's on Netflix streaming. I started watching it. I'm completely hooked. It's a good show. Not an amazing show, but a very good show. Totally down for this show.
Excellent.
I watched the entire season in like a weekend, and Jay hasn't even watched the first episode of this new season. I watched that already.
And did you like it?
I did. It was good. I mean, we can definitely talk about some things I want to talk about from the first episode, but I'll wait till you watch it. We'll wait till the next episode, and we'll talk about the first episode and the second episode, which airs tonight.
Yeah, we're recording this on Sunday, so I'm actually going to watch the first one while the second one records, and then I'll watch the second one.
But the first season, I mean, basically there are Walking Dead. There's never an explanation of why they're like this, but some kind of virus spread. And then basically you have this cop who got shot, who recovers afterwards, and he comes around a group of people who are trying to survive. And the group happens to include his best friend cop and his wife and son, which you just have to go with like, wow, what a coincidence, but we'll go with that.
Well, the comic is very different on that part. The best friend does have the affair with the wife, but then the guy gets like completely psycho jealous about it, and because he wants to still be with the wife. And there's that scene in the first season where they go into the woods and he's like kind of got his gun on him and he's thinking about shooting him.
Yeah.
The son sees that and actually shoots him and kills him.
Oh, so the friend's dead in the first season? In the comic book?
By like the fifth issue, yeah.
Oh. And the show and the season ends, and we'll talk about more about next week also, the difference between the comic and the... we're going to be more about Walking Dead, and maybe make this a Walking Dead podcast. Who knows? Next week. But the end, basically, they go to the CDC, which, here's what annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Emory. Emory's across the street, basically, from the CDC. The CDC they show in the episode, nowhere near Emory. Not in the right location.
CDC is also not in the comic at all.
Yeah. Anyhow, so the guy that really is there's a mad scientist who, not a mad scientist, he's just a scientist who's given up on life and lets the CDC explode. I'm fairly certain that's not the CDC's like game plan, is that it explodes at the end. That'd be a weird thing. The U.S. is like, yeah, we created the CDC. If we ever lose power for an extended period of time, it destroys the neighborhood.
Next episode I want to talk about the complete shitstorm that I am getting from my rant on lip piercings on the website. Because as recently as today, I got another comment about it.
I also got a boiler room phone call about a stock I want to talk about also. We got some stuff to talk about. Maybe we'll be back sooner than later.
All right. We got to cut this episode a little short because Mark has to do some engagement, baby shower,
family obligations, and I got to be actually at Grand Central in 15 minutes. So, or actually, I have to leave for Grand Central in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go, and we'll be back shortly with another episode.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna focus a little more on our random news stories and comedy and stuff next episode, just to take a little break from the TV.
And Walking Dead. I could talk about Walking Dead for a half an episode. Between that and the comic?
Yeah. All right, so we'll do that next episode, and we'll be back soon. So thanks for listening, everybody. And like our Facebook page. All right, kiddies? You got some extra time because the episode was short, so you can take a second and left-click once. Thank you.
Thank you.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end.